Fabulous. Okay, so guys, would someone turn the light off and we'll get started? Ah, there's Michael just coming in the door. Now, just make sure everyone can see. Bear with us. Right, can everyone see? Yes? Can everyone see okay? You can't see? Come on over.
Hi.
We're going to lift the computer so you can see everyone you're talking to tonight, Thomas. All right.
Hi, guys. How are you doing? Doing good?
All right. I've got some kids over here waving away. So that's great.
Nice. Nice to hear you, that you are okay. And, well, glad to be here again for the second time.
Much.
Okay. Let's see. I need to share my screen, Neil, now that I am...
Okay, so share screen.
Can you please allow me?
Absolutely. So what do I have to do here?
Maybe you can make me host again. I'm not sure anyways that you are recording.
Hear me, hang on. Bear with me. Share screen.
Are you having some pizzas today?
Share. Is that okay? Or am I sharing? Am I sharing the wrong screen?
No. I need to share my screen.
Okay, let's fix that then. Okay, bear with me. If anyone knows better than me, feel free to come and teach me. I don't believe you do.
If you want to, I can record and then I send you the link as you wish.
Yeah, I don't mind either way. Hang on.
But yeah, the problem is that I need to share my screen for you to see my board.
Okay, so let's get that right. Oh yeah, here we are. Okay, so just security. Pause share. Okay, pause share. Stop share. That's one thing, right? So how do I make you? How do I make it your show?
You have to go to my image, let's say, and there are 3 dots there in the top right corner.
Done.
And you have to make, okay, now yes, perfect. Now you can see my screen, right?
No problem.
Perfect. Okay, are we ready to start?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Well, first of all, for the ones who don't know me, probably Neil introduced myself there, but well, I am FIDE Master Thomas Capitanchuk from Argentina. Well, probably some of you were the last lesson. I don't know you, but very happy to see you there. I'm very happy to see the activity, Neil. And well, Neil is the one who, I know how to say it very well in English, but the main organizer, but I know there are many other guys, they are helping him. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. And something I was thinking about is that you have to take advantage, guys, of Neil, because there are not, in the chess world, there are not very good organizers. Yes. So that's why, yeah, you have to take advantage of that, all the activity you are running there. So yeah, well, and this is one of them, right? This activity. The idea is, right, to discuss some chess topics, yes, some chess concepts, right? And yeah, try to have some fun, but also, let's say, studying some chess. So 1 second, please. Let me see.
Go right ahead.
So, okay, for the idea of today is to, first I will show you 1 or 2 games, depending on the time. As last lesson, I will try to do it, yes, an interactive one. So it's not a monologue, right? Like you will try to participate, right? I will be asking you some questions in the position about chess concepts in general, right? So yeah, we can discuss the position, let's say. And finally, as we also did last time, we will play some blitz games against me, Lisbon Chess Club against FIDE Master.
We're coming for you this time.
Yeah. Last time I won, but I know you are improving. Yeah, you are taking some lessons. So now I am not so confident. Okay. Well, you know, just to start, it's difficult to choose a game, yes, which adapts to the level for all of you, right? Maybe sometimes it will be a bit easy or a bit complex, yes, depending on the level. But yeah, I try to choose a game in which we can see many different concepts which can be applied at let's say at a low level and at a higher level, right? So yeah, well, let's just start. In this case, the game was a Sicilian between Smyslov and Rudakovsky. Well, you know, Smyslov was a world champion, and Rudakovsky, well, was a good player. So well, the game was a Sicilian, right? A Sicilian Paulsen. And I want to reach this position, which is already interesting. And something that I am remembering now is that one of the games I showed you last time, then you can check it in, I think the recording of last lesson is on YouTube. I think in the Lisbon Chess Club channel. I showed one game which I won against a GM, and here played G4, which is the Keres attack. Really aggressive, really interesting. But in this game, Smyslov, yes, preferred to play a more positional approach, right? Which is just go bishop e2. So well, going back to this structure, well, this is very solid for black, right? So we can see that white has more space in the position, right? Because the pawn on e4, yes, a bit better development, right? Because I have 3 pieces developed. But again, black's position is too solid. And as you can see, there are no weaknesses in black's position, right? No very important weaknesses. So this setup with the pawns on d6 and e6, it seems like it's very limiting, let's say, especially to these bishops. But the truth is that both of these pawns, yes, control the main squares in the center. So they avoid any pieces, yes, coming into a knight to d5, a knight to f5, or any other things. And well, as I said, in compensation, white has a better space, better development. So yeah, here black's general idea, yes, will be to like a counter-attacking idea, right? White, what happens in this type of positions, it's that white overexpands a lot sometimes, you know, with f4, sometimes g4, g5, and you have to be careful with that when you are playing as white, right? Because well, we say, but well, we are just winning more space and attacking, but we always have to be careful because black sometimes against this, yes, when white pushes the pawn on one side of the board, you know that the concept says that yes, black will try to break in the center. And for example, if you had the pawn on g4, right, and the king is on g1, well, then the king will suffer a bit, right, if the center is open. So here I'm trying to introduce some concepts, right, about this specific pawn structure, right, which is very common in many Sicilians, right? I would say. I don't know if it's common in any other openings. I don't think so. So, okay, black played bishop e7, castles, bishop e3. Until this point, it's all theory. Also, don't hesitate if you have any question, right? I know there are some players which play this position as white or as black. So if you don't have any questions, if you have questions, sorry, please ask Neil, and yes, I will answer them.
Just shout if you want to ask anything.
No questions until here?
So far, so good.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. So okay, the game continued knight c6, f4. This is very typical also, and queen c7. So now I will stop a little bit here, and I would like to ask you, what plans do you know in this standard position as white? Yeah, not isolated moves, some plans.
What plans for white?
Yeah, plans for white. In which side of the board do you think you are going to play? Well, in this position, we have many plans as white, so I would like to hear to you.
Probably because I'm weak, I would take the knights off, and then try to get the white bishop in a better square in the future, and then maybe try roll my A and the B and the C pawn off.
You mean taking here and putting the bishop on d4?
Yeah, something like that for the future, but or maybe moving the E2 bishop, eventually, you know, to a better square. I'm not quite sure where, but my first idea, because I'm a patzer, is probably knight takes knight.
Okay. Well, I would say the problem of knight takes knight takes c6, is that sometimes you are black can take with the b pawn, right? And you know, you have to notice whenever you trade a piece, right? This is also a very important concept. You have to evaluate the position and the pawn structure transformation, right? After this trade, right? So for example, I think this would be beneficial for black because he still has even more control of the center, right, than before. And you are also creating some sort of counterplay over the b-file sometimes.
Oh, we have a question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah. Go back to before the knight takes.
Could we go back? Yep.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like black would probably try to move the d pawn next. Is that because if white decides to trade, he'd end up winning material, so you probably wouldn't defend against that.
Sorry, I don't hear you very well, but I think this was your idea, like as black.
That'd be a good move, so you probably want to defend against that.
So he wants to find a way to defend against black doing d5. How would you
okay.
Have you any ideas?
I think e4 is a bigger threat, or e5 is a bigger threat from black.
So we think Dean, one of our other players, thinks that e5 is a bigger problem.
E5 or
black doing e5.
Black doing e5. Okay.
So what would you like as white? What would you?
I would do knight f3 there. Knight on d4 to f3.
So knight on it, knight to f3.
That's it, yeah. With the intention of trying to put a bit of support in the center and position my knight towards around, but trying to go towards the king.
Yeah.
And that also opened up the queen for the defend against the piece.
There you go.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so the consensus seems to be knight to f with f3.
Knight to f3, and your idea is, which is the idea of knight if f3, to push sometimes support e5 or bring the knight sometimes to the attack?
Yes.
Okay.
We're also getting G4.
Also G4. Okay.
Getting everything. G4 is like going back to the carries attack, though, isn't it?
Well, no, I didn't mention that G4 is always bad. Sometimes it's an idea, not particularly in this position, but because of tactical issues, I think, that now I will explain. So it's good that you are there participating, and I will try to cover all those things you have been saying. Well, the first one that was Neil's idea is that maybe the problem, right, is what I mentioned. You are like black is bringing one more point to the center and opening the b-file. Then also something interesting that you mentioned is that black sometimes is trying to play d5 or e5, but that is always something difficult, right? Why? Because, and this is another concept, whenever you push a pawn, right, especially in the center, you have to think which weaknesses you are leaving, right, in the position. So for example, you always have to know that whenever you move a pawn, right, let's say random pawn, let's say here g6, you weaken the two squares that are next to it, right? So if you push g6, you're weakening these dark squares, right, f6 and h6. So having said that, what squares are you weakening by playing e5?
d5, yeah, d5, f5.
d5 and f5. Mm-hmm. And in this case, you know, it's more important, yes, these weaknesses, than maybe weakening h6, for example, or playing a6 and weakening b6, let's say. Yeah, so in chess, we always have to be thinking about pawns transformation, right? Pieces traits, yes. Well, this is not something you will learn in only with this lesson, right? you need to see many examples and study and study and study model games like this one, right? To understand. So a tip, yeah, for you is that when you study openings, right? There are two factors you have to take into account. Well, apart from many others, but I think there are two very important ones. One is the idea with the which are the pieces ideas, right? Where do you want to place your pieces, basically? And the other one is to know which are the possible yes, pawn structure transformation, right? Because the pawn structure is the one that defines, yes, if your pieces are well placed or not, right? And maybe I am not being so clear now, but then you will understand this concept that the pawns, yes, are the ones who say, yes, if a piece is good or not. We will see some moves later. Yeah, basically the problem of going d5 directly here, anyways, it's white's turn, but I mean, going d5 is that white is going to play e5, right? And by playing e5, yes, we are forcing this defender of the king, right? Especially h7 to go back, right? Let's say we play a random move like a3, d5, e5. Yes, this is the concept of removing a defender. Yeah. Now, if this knight moves, let's say, well, now this king will be a bit unsafe, right? Let's say I will play bishop d3, some queen h5 ideas, rook f3, a rook lift, right?
Yeah.
Well, many ideas, which are not so easy, right? If we still have this position here, right? And well, the consequence of playing e5, yes, is the ones that I mentioned, right? Especially the d5 square, we suffer a lot, and we have to be careful, right? Because the queen is there, the knight potentially can jump to d5, right? Well, anyways, don't worry that then in the game it happens something similar, right? So here, as white, you have to be careful about playing g4, right? Because yes, as white you are threatening, right, g5, which is seems really strong, right? With the same idea of e5, remember, to remove the defender, and then go rook f3, rook h3, and maybe a queen lift and knight, basically, right? So as far as I remember, I told you at the beginning that sometimes g4 is not so beneficial for white because of king's unsafety, right? A future king's unsafety. So how do you think you will take advantage as black here of this situation? You know, it's a critical position, right? Because white is just threatening to go g5 and enjoy a very nice space advantage, right? So we have to be very active in this type of situations, right? As black.
Right.
So the question is, how would you react as black?
Okay, so as black, I don't really want to lose my my king's knight defender. I don't want that to have to move it, but I can't see how I can stop g5 adequately. So
yeah, maybe it's a bit difficult to stop g5, right? Like in a literal way.
No, I mean, it's all, yeah. I mean, h6 is obviously horrible, but I wouldn't want to do that. Help me, better players.
Well, I can flip the board if it's more comfortable for you.
That's okay. No, that's fine. We're all thinking.
Yeah, no problem. It's difficult. These type of positions.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so attack the knight with e5.
e5 here.
Well, maybe
knight takes knight, bishop takes knight, e5, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, Bishop takes, no, bishop can't take pawn. Yeah.
So yeah, you mean knight takes followed by e5?
You go knight takes knight, and he takes the bishop, and that gives an extra defender to e5 square. He'll have an, if he takes
1 second.
Knight takes knight,
No problem.
e5 square.
If I pushing the pawn up there, this is threatening the bishop as well as the f-pawn. Even the f-pawn takes is still take back with e4. And it's great that you're trying to remove that f-pawn. Just right because things are exposed.
I feel like this is more
yeah, e5 then pushes away that f6 knight, and that's what I'm doing. If you've got a position where like black set, I think it is important not to playing that. They don't forget to check it out.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Do we like knight takes knight?
No.
What do we think? Shout to Thomas while I do this.
Knight takes 95, with the light pressure associated with the go ahead.
Right. Sorry, Thomas, I'm just having to welcome new people. So,
No problem, no problem.
sorry. So what do we think, Steve? Steve H, what do you think?
I think the knight on, what's that one? F6.
F6, yeah.
The knight on F6, drop it back to
What? D,
E7.
D7?
And then, or D7 and move it back round again, yeah?
So you want to move the knight to
I
D7?
don't want to touch the pawns.
No.
I
Okay.
forward to, I don't want to touch the pawns.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes in these type of positions, just to avoid g5, we play a move like h6, for example. But yeah, in general, this is weakening a bit more the king, right? Because white
Yeah, I
can
don't
just
like
go
that.
h4 and then g5, and then probably maybe the h5 is being opened in the future. So yeah, it's better to allow g5, right? And that's all. Okay, 97 wouldn't be a bad move for sure. Like you are anticipating to his g5. The problem is that it loses a bit of control over the center, right? And so that's why here we need to play more actively. And I think I was hearing when you left, Neil.
Yes.
I don't hear very clearly those like you guys, you are talking there. But I heard that someone said knight takes d4 followed by e5.
Yes, we've had a few people say knight takes knight and then push the pawn.
Okay, and I like that idea, and it's very well. Yes, the idea in general after this g4 is that yeah, we can take, and then we are winning a tempo over the bishop or the queen, it depends, and opening this diagonal for our bishop. So the position changes now, right? Because let's say queen takes e5. Well, now you have to be careful about the g4 pawn sometimes, right? Or let's say you take with the bishop, e5, and here, well, now it's totally different because now, as you can see, the pawns are not connected. And you know that when the pawns are not connected, they lose power, right?
Yeah.
So for example, now I can just go bishop e6 and allow g5, and let's say have a position like this. Black is very safe. Black is very safe, and this king in the long term will suffer. Yes, because there is no f pawn. The pawn on g5 is it's not on g2, which would be a lot safer. So this position is just an advantage for black. Yes.
You have a possibility of queen c5 in the future, check, and then win the pawn. Yeah,
well, queen b6, you mean?
No.
Okay, yes.
Eventually get the queen on the c5, and then you can win the pawn because you're attacking it twice.
Right. Yes. Sorry, I didn't see this one.
No,
I was thinking about queen b6 and queen takes b2, which is also possible.
All right. So I didn't see that.
Maybe yours is even better. So yeah, well, you can see the difference I would say the main advantage black has is king safety, right? Which, well, as you know, in chess is the most important part. So yeah, be careful as white when you push yes g4 in a premature way, and be careful also as black not to keep very passive in these type of positions in which you have to react, right? Well, this is the concept when your opponent starts yes expanding on one side of the board, let's say the king side or the queen side. Yes, in general, the general rule, yes, obviously, when I mention a general rule, there are always exceptions. But the general rule says that you have to react, yes, in the center. Yes, and this is a clear example, right? Overextending on one side of the board, reacting on the center, right? So I want you to take from this lesson, yes, this concept, which is really important about talking about pawn structures, right? So okay, well, here white played queen e1, which is another very common plan. The idea is just to lift the pieces to the king side, right? The queen on g3 is much more active than on d1. And yeah, as I mentioned, yeah, sometimes if black just plays normal moves, let's say, white will be very comfortable, right? With queen g3, maybe rook e1 and support a future e5, maybe, or sometimes supports an f5 with ideas with queen g3, bishop h6, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes bishop d3. So if black keeps very passive here, he will suffer, right? So here, well, this is, anyways, this is still theory, right? Black took on d4 and played e5 now. Yeah, so this is the idea.
Yeah.
The problem of this position, as black, let's say, the drawbacks black has is that now, remember that he played e5 and weakened, yes, these two squares, which now d5 is even more important, right, than f5. It's not very easy for a white piece to reach f5 in comparison with this one, which and just one move to go from here. But what happened is that now black has more space, yes, or has stopped e5 ideas, right? And now this bishop, let's say, is free. Yes, the diagonal is open. So okay, black played bishop e6 and white went f5. So I would like to stop in this position for some minutes. And you try to think. I will flip the board. If you would play here bishop c4, this move, or bishop d7, which is your idea. Try to think it for some minutes, and you tell me.
So retreat the bishop or advance it.
You would like to retreat here?
Yeah, retreat.
Yeah, retreat the bishop.
Bishop d7, but okay.
I feel like advancing it would be better.
Why didn't we play here?
We're mixed emotions. Some people say offer the trade, and some people say just retreat to d7.
You take the bishop, you take it with the queen, and then you can move your knight to e4 and then threaten his knight.
But it's also gaining time in the sense that maybe e4 is now weak, and also he now has to prepare g4 as a move, which I'm pretty sure is in his best interest if he's looking to attack.
Yeah.
Come on up a bit closer, Alex, so you can hear.
I'm just thinking that if you offer a trade on c4, you know, yes, he doesn't have to take, but okay, maybe you can play g4 right away. But in the event of white trading, g4 has to be prepared. e4 is also quite weak; it's a backward pawn, and it's going to take more time for him to attack, which is obviously going to be a better thing for black.
So where do you
okay,
want c4?
c4.
C4. That's one of our good players. Or one of our better players says C4.
Okay. Well, it's difficult, the decision, right? And as I told you, right, some minutes ago, you always have to evaluate what happens after each piece trade, right? In this case, we are offering, yes, to trade off the light square bishops. And well, in this case, we are just retreating. And probably the idea is then to go to c6, right? Mm-hmm. So I heard that aberration was bishop c4, g4 here, maybe. I think I heard something like this. And which?
I don't know whether you have knight takes g4 there. Probably not. You'll got an exchange, but
that's the black queen.
I just yeah. The light square bishop is strong, and so like white's light square bishop is strong compared to black's.
Take the middle.
You could.
And then go for that there.
Absolutely, that's doable.
And then attack the knight.
Okay. Well, in this position, yeah, probably if white goes g4, threatening g5, yeah, which seems like an interesting plan. Then again, you have to react to the center, yes, against every g4, right? Here the move is d5, yeah. d5, and this king is opened, and black won't suffer the consequences of g5 and knight d7, right? Which would be passive for black. Now we are just, well, if g5, we can just take it, let's say. Or if pawn takes, knight takes. And this is always when the center is opened, right? As in this case, this g4 is just a weakness for white, yeah? So that's something important to know. Sorry, Neil, I didn't.
You said c4 maybe is best because it stops him from playing g4.
So you mean if bishop d7, what you would go g4 as white and then d5 is controlled?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now we will see something about that. So, well, in this position, there is one good move and one bad move on this bishop c4 and bishop d7. So move is bishop d7. This is a good move. Now we will see why. And now I will try to introduce another concept. So I will flip the board. No, sorry. Bishop c4 seems like a very active move, right? And basically it is an active move, but it has a very important detail in the position, which is, okay, if you have to put into a category, let's say, these 4 bishops. Let's start with black's bishops, which is the good and the bad one.
Yeah. Your black bishop in that position.
This one is the bad bishop, and
yes.
This one is the good bishop, right?
Yeah.
And in white's case,
they're both good bishops, yeah.
But there is one which is better than the other one.
Yeah, the black one's better because because pawns, his own pawns block him a little bit, so the black one's better. Right.
Yes. So this is, now I come back to what I have said before, that the pawn structure is the one which defines, which says if your pieces are good or not, especially the bishops. In open positions, the bishops, and in closed position, the knights. So yeah, basically this pawn structure, right? This pawn formation, d6, e5, f5, e4. It's very important to know, yes, which are the possible transformations and which are your good and bad pieces in this position. So here, the drawback of playing bishop c4 is not only that you are trading your good bishop for white's bad bishop, but this is a very good bishop because it controls the d5 square. Yes, this is the most important part. So by trading them, we are losing control over the d5 square. We are losing one defender of this square, which, remember, we left weak when we played e5 as black, right? So the man here would be to go bishop d7 and then go bishop c6 and keep the control over it, right? But with bishop c4, now we are losing a bit of control over here. Because after the bishops are traded, okay, now the queen is much more active. And how would you play here as white? Another question. How would you continue? Try to take into account, yes, I will give you a hint, the control over the d5 square.
Bishop to g5, take the knight off, and then the knight goes into the p5 square.
Very well, very well. Makes a lot of sense. Yes, here the move is bishop g5. Because yeah, we are just forcing black. Yes, it's unavoidable for him that we will take.
Yeah.
Right, on f6. And we will play with this knight in a very strong square, which is d5, against a bad bishop, right? Because he has his main pawn structure on the color of it, right?
Yeah.
So that position will be strategically lost for black. Yes, in like material is even, right? But in strategical terms, the position is a disaster, right? As black, I mean. So this is the continuation. Yes, the white had that actually the game was like this. Yes, bishop c4 takes 6 and bishop g5, and now we'll see how it continued. But yeah, it's already very difficult here for black to play, and there are no pawn breaks, no counterplay. So the best way to play here was bishop d7. And here we will also see something interesting, because it is true that this move, yes, loses a bit of control over the d5 square in the very short term, right? So white, for example, can now play g4, and d5 is controlled because I have two pieces and only one defending. So here, how would you try to solve the situation as black? It's similar to the ideas I have mentioned you before. So when g4 is played in these high positions, we need to react on the center. But the question is how in this position. It seems like more complex than the previous examples I have shown you.
Yeah, well, the first thing would be we think is maybe bishop c6, and that just puts two attackers on the e pawn.
Right, bishop c6 would make a lot of sense. And yeah, probably white's only move is just to go bishop f3, right? Controlling both g4 and e4 and d5.
Yeah.
And how can we continue? That's the problem.
Right.
Anyways, this is again much more complex than the previous example, so I will try to help you.
Yeah, it doesn't feel easy as black in this position.
Yeah, like the idea is similar, but not so easy to.
I don't see any tactics. If there is any, I'm sure there is, but I'm not good enough.
No, there is no tactics in this position as black as
black. Yeah. I mean, for me playing, I'd be inclined to just go for b6 to try to get some space and then centralize my rooks. That's probably all I'd do.
Play the d5.
D5.
Yeah, I know, but for your black
D5 doesn't have enough attackers. There's 3 attackers and only 2 defenders. So yeah, we'd have to centralize rooks, wouldn't we?
So maybe rook e8, rook e4, but maybe is that
So yeah, the problem of that if we play rook e8 or rook d8, or as Neil said, yes, maybe b6 or any other move. I know white is playing g5 and f6 and opening all of this king. Let's say rook fd8, for example. after something like this, black is very passive. Now there are no pawn breaks, right? D5 is now literally impossible, right? Maybe white can put a rook on D1 sometimes. And now this king will not suffer, right? Because as there are no pawn breaks for black, black has no possibilities of opening the position, which always, yes, favors him. Yes, favors black. So yeah, it's difficult. Already this position is, well, let me see what the engine says, but well, the engine says 3 points for white. So imagine, yeah, the position is already very complicated for black. So yeah, we have to be careful when playing a bit passively here. So again, I told you this one was a bit more complicated, right?
Sure.
And the idea here is still, yes, trying to play D5. Yeah.
Could you sack the knight?
I look at that, I don't know.
Where?
It's not exactly. You sat on for E4.
Yes, knight takes E4.
D5 then.
Yeah, and then you've got D5, and then you keep rolling until you fork the pieces.
You mean directly here?
Yeah.
But what if bishop takes E4?
You can't yet. Maybe could you prepare it with rook D1 and then do that?
The problem is that G5 is coming.
Yeah.
Ah, well, you can. Okay, you mean something like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a bit optimistic, but but could be. Let me. Well, basically, if you take with the bishop, I can go D5 and D4.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because let's say bishop takes D5, F6 also.
Yeah. And now your pawns are going to be ripped. Your king's going to be ripped open.
Yeah, that's the problem. The king, the F file. Now, sometimes the bishop can take here.
Yeah, this is when I start to resign.
Yeah, it's difficult. No, it is okay anyways that you think about sacrificing here, because it's like the spirits, right, of the position. You sometimes need to sacrifice. But in this case, it is not necessary to sacrifice a piece, right? And we can sacrifice a pawn here by playing D5 directly. Now, yes, just if G5, we can take here, right? And this is defended. There's no problem. So yeah, the idea is that we play D5. Yes, you will say, but well, white has 3 attackers, black 2 defenders. He can just take it. Let's say with the pawn or with the knight. Let's say he takes with the pawn. And now the second sacrifice, which is E4, right? And this is a bit more convincing, let's say, right? Because now we are opening all the center, right? There are basically no black pawns on the center. Now the queen is on E1, so in the future we can go rook E8. Now this diagonal is being opened. Also these ones, like you can see that the entire position is being opened, right? In this case. So yeah, basically, let's say white takes here, I can just take here, and okay, we are down a pawn, right? Because black has 5 pawns against white 6 pawns. But black has a lot of compensation, right? If this pawn was on G2, I would say white is better, right? But the fact that it's on G4, yes, I insist on this, but it's I want you to really understand it. Makes the king a lot, yes, very unsafe. So as I said, I can have pressure here over the E file. Yes, I have some discoveries on these 2 diagonals, right, which are really potentially really strong, right? So yeah, it's difficult now because let's say after E4, if he takes here, I can just take here. And again, although sometimes we are 1, 2 pawns down, the compensation is, yes, huge, a huge compensation here for the pawns. So that's why maybe I prefer to sacrifice pawns rather than knights.
Yeah.
No, so just joking, but you have to react here, yes, in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, or let's say if he takes with the knight, just I can take and play e4. Yes, something similar. Right, and well, let's say if he just takes and after here e4 he just goes back. Well, I can choose here. I can take, no, this one not, but I can take this one. And yeah, similar position, right? And before. And now again, this loses power, yes, in the position because the center is open, right? As long as the center is closed and white can avoid, right, black from opening the center, this g4, g5, f6 ideas are okay. But if black has the possibility of opening, yes, the center, then these moves, yes, again, lose power in the position. So yeah, well, basically this was black's response, right, to this idea. And now when white goes f5 in these type of positions, right, now there is no more pawn tension in the center, right? So here there is pawn tension. And you know, playing d5 is much more complicated for black because white always has the possibility of taking this one. But when white goes f5 here, d5 is stronger, right? Because we don't have to be worrying about f takes e5, right? So be careful about this, yes, this concept of the pawn tension. So I would say it is not a very good move here for white to play f5. It's a good move only if black goes bishop c4 here, as we said, and happen in the game, right? But after here and bishop c6, I would say the position is equal. But well, I play these positions as black, so I prefer black here. Yeah, maybe it's a bit more personal. So yeah, was this more or less clear? Yes, these ideas of trading, yes, good and bad bishops, d5 square, yes, how to open the center. Do you have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions? No. Please carry on.
No questions? Okay.
I have actually, so, I have one, but one
sure,
thing
yeah,
one thing I find I struggle to do is take a winning position and make it a winning game. You know, I can see as black that all my answers there were terrible and I would have lost the game. But even if I was white and I was in that position, I would still struggle to know how to just, you know, turn it into a victory. Even when I know and I think, oh, I'm way ahead of this guy.
Okay.
People to end up drawing me or even me losing.
I understand your question, Neil. Well, you know, in chess, it's really difficult to convert advantages, right? It's not easy. Sometimes we play very well, but if you don't convert the game, right, into a win, then you are not being efficient, right? So that's maybe another chapter, let's say. It's another, yes, we can be hours and hours discussing this, yes, on how to convert advantages and showing you examples. What you always have to try to do, and well, we will now see something about converting advantages in this game, which I think that the main point, right, when converting an advantage is to try to avoid your opponent's counterplay. Yeah, that's maybe the main factor, I would say, or one of the main ones, because yeah, sometimes when we struggle to convert advantages into a win, because we allow, yes, our opponents to move the pieces and play very actively, yes, and have counterattack, right? So if we don't rush and first avoid that counterattack and then play our plans, yeah, then it is much easier, yeah. So that's my main tip. Now, anyways, now we will keep talking about this in this game, yeah. So okay, well, and the other part, yes, which I always insist on this also is tactics. Yes, you when converting an advantage, you need to be very concentrated. Also, that's also very important because maybe you are winning after 3 hours of playing, and you are already very tired. But yeah, that's the critical moment, right? In which you have to convert and take action, yes, take a risk sometimes to win the game, yes. Yeah, so yeah, it's also difficult because when you convert an advantage, you also have to take risks, right? And there is when your opponent, yes, takes advantage of that and makes things more complicated, right? I would try to give an example for you to understand it better in this game. So f5, bishop c4, well, this was a bad move because of this continuation, right? So now we said, yes, positionally talking, the position, yeah, it's a disaster for black. And you know how only one pawn, yes, changes all the position. If this pawn was on e6, what would be, sorry, black would be a lot better here because the bishop would be very active and there wouldn't be a d5 weak square, right? So I come back to the concept that the pawn structure is the one that says if your pieces are well placed or not. Yes, just try to imagine in your mind, right? This exactly same position with the pawn on e6. Instead of e5, the pawn on e6.
Yeah.
Yes, the bishop will enjoy very good diagonals because these pawns are on light squares. And for example, I can place my bishop on e5. My bishop cannot be kicked out with d4 or f4. This diagonal is suffering for white. Then I wouldn't have good squares for my knight, right? Because the pawn is on e6. I cannot jump here. Yeah, so this is very important to know. Okay. So here white played knight d5. Well, basically black cannot take on c2 because of rook c1 followed by knight c7, right?
Yes. I was wondering why you didn't do it.
Well, this one is a bit better anyways. But yeah, the idea is that the queen has to keep on the c file and then play rook c1 and then knight c7. It's a bit better because with rook c1, black can take this one on b2 and maybe have some compensation like 2 pawns for the exchange. But yeah, rook f2 is better because it doesn't lose this pawn.
See that.
Yeah, anyways, this is not so interesting, so important. So bishop d8, c3. Now, yes, we have to avoid any counterplay. Now black was starting to take on c2. b5, b3. And we have this position. So yeah, this is the example in which we need to convert this advantage, right, into a win. So now I will ask you a question. In which side of the board do you think you are going to play and how will you do it?
Okay. Yeah, so we're thinking a rook lift.
F6 looks very tempting.
F6. Yeah, F6 is good. Yeah.
So rook lift with rook f3, I imagine.
Yeah. Or we can do F6 immediately, can't we?
And maybe F6 immediately.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Then he just he pushes him.
Okay. Yeah, obviously rook f3 and f6 both are very interesting. But here I would say that you have to be a bit careful when creating counterplay, right? And this is what I was mentioning. Probably f6 is objectively, yes, very good. But sometimes f6, like now we're just forcing the knight to take. And yeah, the knight is no longer defending c3. So now this is the case in which we are allowing some counterplay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although, again, white is probably better in this position. Like, I know, I feel like we have lost a bit the control of the position, right?
Okay.
Also, you have to bear in mind that you have traded an excellent knight against a very bad bishop. Yeah.
Instead of taking with the knight.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What if we took with the rook? Rook
Yeah,
takes.
that's also possible for sure.
Oh, sorry, Lorcan, what do you want to say?
So go forward to that position we were in.
Go back? Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, and then after the queen, took c3.
The queen takes c3, where? Sorry.
Here.
Changes.
Oh, right. Oh, right, okay.
And then I was thinking, rook f3, rooking off the queen, and then after, if the queen retreats, like, the white queen can go to d3.
Yeah, but the problem there is that black is going to trade queens right here after rook f3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is what we have to try to avoid, right? We have to try to avoid black from activating this position. Well, actually now black is a pawn up, if I am not wrong. 3-3 against 3-2, yeah. So
No, white's not going to draw.
Maybe now even black is a bit better, right? So
okay,
yeah.
so go back to the original position. So if we've sacked, if we took with the when bishop takes pawn, could we take with the rook?
Yeah, well, anyways, it would be something more or less similar, let's say, right?
Well, now we take and we win a rook.
No, because you sacrifice the rook.
Yeah, no.
Give a queen g3 check rather than rook takes f6.
Okay, queen g3 check.
Yeah. Regardless, you know, if the king goes to f8 or h8, I think this queen h4 not quite strong. If the rook then comes to e6, he's the next rook across to f1.
So yeah, you would like to play with queen
h4. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for sure, this would make a lot of sense, right, for white. And again, I repeat. Well, now we are threatening queen h6 followed by knight f6 and queen h7 mate. So yeah, well, this is probably very good for white. Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe taking this into account, we have to take with the pawn. Yeah, again, f6 is totally, yes, it's perfect, f6. But here white chose, as there is no rush, yes, he chose to play rook f3. Because we are avoiding this counterplace and we are improving the position of our rook.
Yeah.
So king h8 and now, yes, f6. So maybe it was more or less similar idea, yes? It's just to sacrifice this pawn. This pawn is not so important. So pawn takes and queen h4. Obviously, white is just threatening to play rook h3 and mate in the next move, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it continued rook g8. The idea is to, after rook h3, rook g7.
Yeah.
So knight takes, rook g7 and rook g3. So now I would like to ask you, what is white threatening here? What would you play as white if it was its turn?
If it was white's turn?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then mate on g8.
Yeah, very well. These mating patterns are very, very interesting, right? Yeah, queen takes h7, after rook takes, rook g8 mate.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I will show you to give it clear. Let's say black plays a stupid move.
Yeah.
Very nice continuation. Queen takes, rook takes only move, rook g8 mate.
I never sacrifice queens.
Very nice.
I don't have the courage.
Then I will send you. I have a study on leeches. I will keep that study open. So I will just send you the link and you can enter. In which you have many interesting mating patterns. So I will, after the lesson, I will send you the link, Neil, so you can share it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the page.
It's a whole study in which there are like 20 different chapters about different mating patterns.
There was in the game, way this game's played, there was a game by Josh Waitzkin, his Immortal game, that sort of ended similarly with a like a 10-move checkmate where he sacrificed a knight, I think, to open up the position. It's American player Josh Waitzkin. You know who I mean?
It sounds to me, but I don't know him.
I'll show you. He was a master, but I'll show you. I'll send it to you.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well, so then I will try to not to forget to send you that. That
I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, the game just continued. Bishop takes f6. After queen takes f6, this pin is just it's very difficult to solve. Rook g8.
Great.
Now we have a perfect position of our queen and our rook, but there is one which is not working. So rook d1. Very simple. And yeah, it's just unavoidable for black to go rook here, and yes, and black's position will collapse. Well, black played some more moves, d5, rook takes, and now yes, black resigned in this position. Right, I am threatening the queen and mate.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to defend the mate, you have to go queen c8, but yeah, I'm just winning the queen. Yeah. So anyways, black resigned here in this position.
That's not mate. You can move the rook back to the
No. Yeah, it's not a mate that we are winning a queen, right?
Yeah, it's enough.
Like the queen for the rook.
Yeah.
And well, we have to convert this position.
Well, now you've come back to f6.
Yeah,
14.
take and this one, then.
And then when let's just start taking the pawns off the board.
Be careful with the background makes here.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it should be easy to win this position.
I think we could convert that win. We could definitely convert that win.
Yeah. I think you all probably can convert this win.
Yeah, I think so.
but yeah. Okay. Which time is it?
You've been with us over an hour already. Would you like to play some? Would you like to play a couple of games?
Yeah, sure. Let's play some games.
Okay, we're gonna send you up a couple of our best players or one of our best players. Okay.
Sure. I like it. Something that's to
Alex, would you come on up? So we've got Alex Goss, who's fresh from the Irish Championships.
Oh, which is his rating?
He's gonna come. What is your rating, Alex? 1890. FIDE?
Yeah.
1900-ish FIDE.
Oh, interesting.
Good. Now you play away. And
before starting the games, do you have any other question about this game you would like to know?
Does anyone else have any questions? No, we're good.
Are you? Is this?
No, I think the way last time we had to do this, you had to just tell Thomas where you wanted the pieces to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. We will talk. Let's say the game. Okay. Well, I will open the problem of this is that we are not going to play with time, but well, with time control, I mean. So okay, well, you will play as white and I will play as black.
Yep, no worries. E4.
4, I go c5.
And knight f3.
Here, d6.
Knight c3. Bishop d5.
Okay.
Castles. Castles. I'll try to put it in the chat. Oh.
On this computer. Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Can you allow me to share my screen now?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to make you the boss again. Hang on. Bear with me. We'll get this back. Participants. More. Make host. Right, you're in charge again.
Perfect. There. Okay.
Are we back?
We are back. D5 was my last move.
Take a seat again, Alex. Sorry, guys.
We'll go ED5.
ED5. Okay. ED5.
Rook E1.
Rook E1. And here, I think the theory was something like this.
D4.
D4. How was this? F7.
DC5.
DC5. I think I missed the move order. It was C64 first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's try to continue.
Bishop takes C6. Knight D4.
Huh. You're making pressure.
I'll try.
Okay, bishop here.
A3.
A3. Okay.
B4. H3.
Complicated.
F4. Queen F3.
Wow. Okay, I am a bit worse, but I will try to fight here. Well, I know what to do.
Knight takes d5.
Okay. My position is collapsing. Takes. And my knight is trapped. Yeah, I'm lost here. Well, I know too. I will go for a5.
c3.
Solid. Okay, here as black, I think I have to resign, but I won't do it. Takes, queen takes, and yeah. I cannot move my pieces, guys. Okay, let's do this.
C takes b4.
And now. Well, I have to take this one.
Queen takes d5.
B takes A5.
This is the longest blitz game ever.
Knight B3.
Knight D3, okay. Rook here.
Rook D1.
Okay, I missed that one. Well, there's nothing to do here. Very well, very well. I resign.
Well done. Thanks very much.
I'm not there.
Thank you very much.
No, welcome. Thank you for the lesson.
Oh, I can't do that. Okay. Listen, Thomas, thank you so much, Thomas, for joining us today.
Thank you very much, guys. Well,
Guys, sorry, go
be
ahead.
careful. Which was his name? Alex.
Alex Goss.
Well, very well, Alex.
Well, guys, thanks very much.
Like
Guys,
that.
we want to give Thomas a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am very happy to be here, and well, hope we can do another lesson in the next month.
Thank you very much, Thomas. I hope you have a good day.
Bye, Neil. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. See you soon.
Enjoy the
Bye now.
pizza. Bye.
Bye.